Last time on the Landing Craft project, we proved that both engines run, which was a huge milestone. But before we can move on with anything else, we've got to deal with the bigger problem, the 2-inch thick plywood transom shims that are completely rotten. So today on Everyday Mariner, we're pulling both sterndrives and lifting both engines out to rebuild that section of the transom. So let's get started. First of all, the drive units need to come off. In theory, they're pretty straightforward. 6 nuts hold each one on, plus the shift cable and trim cylinders need to be disconnected. But if the drive shaft alignment is off, it'll get bound up, and in our case, because of the rotten transom shim, the alignment was way off. After fighting with the port drive unit already, I realised there was no way I was pulling it out by hand, so I reattached the trim cylinders and used the hydraulics to pull the drive shaft out. Not elegant, but effective. Rather than having these heavy parts lying around the shop, I built a rolling cart to store and move the drives. Just some scrap 2x4s and OSB glued and screwed. Pretty much free, and it'll do the job. Once both drives were in the shop, it was time to move on to the engines. The rear of each engine bolts to the inner transom plate of the sterndrive assembly, and that's bolted through the transom to the outer shield, so the engines have to come out before we can get to anything else. Luckily, that part was pretty easy. The fuel, power and throttle were already disconnected from when we ran the engines previously, so all that was left was the exhaust, the raw water pickup hose and the instrument cable back to the wheelhouse. After that, it was just 4 mounts and the engines were ready to lift. One thing in our way was the steel framing that supports the deck hatches on each side. We cut those out for access, being careful not to set anything on fire in the process. The engines actually came out really smoothly. Just a quick 90-degree turn and they fit through the deck opening with no problem. With the engines out, Removing the inner transom plate and the outer transom shield was simple, and that finally gave us access to the transom shims. The transom shims are 2-inch thick plywood used to bring the transom to the right thickness for the sterndrives. They're the only wood anywhere on the boat, and they're completely rotten. So we'll be replacing them with something much more resilient. The next job will be to clean up the transom surfaces and install the new shims. And while the engines and drives are out and easy to get at, we'll be giving them a full service as well. Thanks for watching, and if you're enjoying this project, please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time on Everyday Mariner.